Right, boys, let's lock in. When I first started out, I didn't have any money. Like, I've never even had a job. So before starting my first business, I never had any money. I had nothing to put in. I not only didn't have any money, but I had absolutely no skills at anything. No knowledge. I tried every hustle going. Now, I didn't even try the hustles that you see online now. I wasn't trying dropshipping. I wasn't trying SMMA. I wasn't doing a YouTube channel. There wasn't short form content back at this point. And look, I'm only 25. This wasn't that long ago. But understand, the opportunities that are around today weren't around then. Even a small few years ago. Especially when you're young and starting out and you're trying to build something of yourself and people are not taking you seriously and you don't know what direction to go. I just remember feeling so desperate to make it happen. And I wanted it so badly. And when I started searching for it, things started appearing. And I came up with this system, and what I did with this system was I turned £200 into over £1.5 million in sales. Yo guys, this took me thousands of hours of loneliness and hating my life to figure out, yeah? So just subscribe to the channel. Look guys, we need to get this message out. I spent so many years of my life wasted trying to get my shit together. I wish I watched a video like this that just explained it all in 20 minutes. So subscribe to the channel. More people need to see this. Like the video down below. At one point, I had the most amount of stock I had was around 400 grand. So I literally just flipped it all the way up from £200. Like, I never had any income from anywhere else. And this is the system I was using. And at the time, I didn't know it because it took me quite a long time to figure out what I'm about to share with you in this video. But look, if someone laid out this blueprint beforehand, I would have wasted less time, wasted way less time. Let me just take you back to what I thought I had to do back when I was first grafting. I was 17 years old, working on my business, working from home. This was before my first office. And 7 days a week till late at night, I would just be trying to figure stuff out. Now, the problem with this is I thought I had to just work all the time. I didn't think that I could do anything else. I thought I have to work every waking hour. Now, the problem with that is you're in this position where you're always hustling and you're always looking at the business. You get no inspiration from anything. So then what you end up doing is wasting your life. You're literally swapping the best years of your life for something that you're not even getting paid from because you're just in this hamster wheel all the time. And that's what I'm going to try to save you from with this. Now, when I was first starting out, I was very clear on what I had. What I had was no money. I had lots of time because I was very young and I had no knowledge. Now, you have to be able to look at yourself and see which one of these that you have. Like, I've got friends now who have a lot of knowledge and they have decent savings, but they have no time. Now, I'm willing to be an entrepreneur. I'm willing to try. So what I would do is I will take the finances and knowledge and start putting it into a business and then quit my job and free up the time. But people don't do this. Now, when you're starting out, if you're a young kid, you're likely going to have no money, have loads of time, and have no knowledge like I did. Now, the thing is with these, you can swap each of these and you can leverage them off of each other. So you can trade your time for money or you can trade your time for knowledge. Now, if you're starting from zero, what you need is you need knowledge and you need finances. So you need to find a perfect blend of trading your time for money, a job, minimum wage, or hustling or selling stuff on eBay, whatever hustle you're going to do, you need to be able to transform that time into money. And the same thing with knowledge. You can swap time for knowledge. So if you're looking for knowledge on a business, you might not have the finances yet, but when you're learning about it, that's when you're going to start actually using that time and leveraging it and using it to your advantage. And you have lots of this when you're young. This is the big one when you're young. Now, people who have loads of money, they just go hire the talent. They go hire the brains. And then that gives them more time. Can you see how you can utilize these for each? So the first step that I would recommend is to leverage each of these. So sit down and figure out which one have you got. Now, the excuse makers, yeah, the losers, the guys who say they can't do this, can't do that, the first thing they're going to say is they've got no time. But you can create more time. You can create more money. You can create more knowledge. How do you do that? Well, instead of spending your time on Netflix, spend your time on knowledge or extra working, depending on which one you need the most. Instead of spending your time on weekends, spending your money going out, then save the time, save the money and put it into the knowledge. Now, the perfect blend is where you're growing your finances and growing your knowledge at the same time. This is what I was doing. For a very long time, All I did was grow the finances. I spent all my time on the finances and I had no knowledge. Now, you do pick up knowledge when you're hustling, but specified knowledge you need to do on its own. First things first, when you're starting from absolute zero, figure out what you have. And look, sometimes you have none of them, but that's okay. You've got to look for pockets of where you can leverage each. So can you take extra time at work? Can you get another job? Can you spend your time? And look, don't be telling me you can't do 2 jobs. If you're watching this and you're wanting to make money from zero, it takes some work. Do not get that twisted. It takes work. Anybody telling you can do it in this side hustle part-time, that's BS. It takes work. You've got to put the work in. It's like, I'm serious, guys. Come on. You've got to put the work in. It takes time. All these guys that you're watching, that all have something going on, they have put the time and money in. They've taken the risk. They've put the extra effort in. This is a hard task starting from zero. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. It's difficult, but you can do it. Look, I didn't have any money and any knowledge. And I worked my way up. So when you're young, identify your biggest asset, which is your time, and generate more of these. Because you need the finances for the next level of your business and you need the knowledge to know what to spend the money on. Do not skip these steps. Utilize time as your biggest asset. Right, that is the worst drawing that I've ever drawn in my life. But look, now the next step is we're trying to max out the asset, right? So if you need a lot of money to start a business, then what you should be doing is spending all your time on getting that money together. Now, I tried to do that for way too long. I tried to hustle my way up to riches. It doesn't work like that. You need to live life, you need to breathe, but you need to give a set amount of time of hyper-focused if you want to get there quicker. It's cool if you want to just do it in your part-time, if you want to learn 5 hours a week, if you want to take 5 hours a week extra hours at work, that's cool. But it's going to take you much longer, isn't it? So for me, what I'd rather do, if I find something I can make money in, even if it's just a job, I'm going to take all the overtime I can and I'm going to work weekends. Because the faster I do that and I get my finances together, the quicker that I can unlock the time. Now, lock in monk mode. This is where you're focusing on getting your shit together. Now, the step one, if you're in monk mode and you're working all the time, you're making money and you're locking in, and by locking in, I had a very cash intensive business. The more stock that I bought, the more money that I made. I was spending thousands of pounds a day on stock. It took a lot of cash. So what I had to do is I had to reduce my personal expenses. I had to save the money. I had to prioritize for the business. Now, if you're doing a different type of business, you might need way more time. Let's say you're starting a YouTube channel. You need to put the time into the YouTube, right? Look, guys, sometimes what you need to do is you need to just look at it and then you'll just try and figure it out. But you need to lock in and you need to go through a monk mode because it's going to take a level of obsession. It's a difficult thing. Any business that you're into, whatever you decide to do, you're going to have to figure it out. So by being hyper-focused and removing things from your life, stop watching Netflix, stop going out drinking alcohol. I'm not saying stop seeing your friends like I did. You can still go for food with your friends, still go do something on a weekend, but lock in. Your time is valuable. You have to spend your time as an investment. Invest your time, invest your money. Invest it in knowledge, invest it in experiences, but do stuff that benefits you. You have to go through this hyper period because you need to go through a level of retraining your mind. When you're starting from zero, you've got to understand that in your local area, you've probably been programmed by the area, family members, people at school, local mindsets. These things are real. You have to deprogram that from your mind. So if you want to learn about making money, I didn't know about making money. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how it worked. All I know is I wanted it. So what I had to do was I had to go into a time chamber and lock myself in, and I had to brainwash myself with entrepreneurial content, with how to make money, educate myself, learn about money, learn about business, learn about an entrepreneurial mindset from books, audio books, YouTube videos, seeking mentors, asking people, researching constantly, watching documentaries, podcasts, whatever it is. You've got to go through a time period of reframing your mind. And when you're super locked in and super obsessed and you're constantly training your mind, that's where you're going to go through a character change. Because believe me, listen, I'm from working class Bradford. Yeah, my great granddad used to go to the pub after work, he used to work in a mill. And if my grandma didn't go and get the money, his wage off him, he would spend it all on alcohol and gambling. Now, that didn't make him a loser. That was because back then they didn't know any different. There wasn't any opportunities or social media. Like, you worked in a mill 7 hours a week to live a bare minimum poor standard, and you had to be happy with that. There weren't no getting out of that. My great granddad used to think buying a house was a waste of money. Now, that's not his fault. Nobody taught him about money. You couldn't go on YouTube and watch these videos. You couldn't learn about how to make money. What? Now I've got the opportunity to learn. I shouldn't be doing it. You're in debt. You should know you have the best opportunity out of everybody in your family's ever had. So it's your obligation to do this. You have to go through this mind programming. You're trying to change your mind to be an entrepreneur. You're trying to change it with the knowledge, and you're trying to remove stuff from it. You're going to have a lot of social ties, friends, family, people you don't want to in your life, people you don't want to be around. And what you're going to have is they haven't gone through this period, so they've never changed their mindset. So all they've done is they've taken the mindset of the local area, and usually it's a negative mindset. If you're from a small town, you're going to have that small town mindset. People don't want to succeed. People don't train their mind. People never even have an interest in starting from anything. You know yourself. They just go get a job. They just work it, play it safe, and then they go die. Now, that's the big thing with this. You have to change your brain, and this is how you do it. You do it by locking in. Now, not everybody has a dad that's a millionaire. Not everybody went through private education like you see a lot of these successful finance guys do. So if you don't come from that background and you don't know anything about money, then what are you going to do to change that? Well, the fact that you're watching this video says to me that you do want to change that. And this is how you change it. So we're going to go through a lock-in period. Now with this, what I did was, I was so obsessed, guys. Yeah, I was too obsessed though. Too obsessed to the point where the more obsessed I got, the more damaged I went, yeah? And I wish I could have reversed this, but look, I'm trying to teach you from my mistakes. So what I tried to do was, I tried to do this for 1 to 3 years, I think I tried to do this for. I brought my finances down. I was super frugal. I was tight, yeah? When it came to business expenses, I'd throw the money down. Like, I wasn't tight on my business, but when it came to personal expenses, I just didn't. Guys, serious, I was so tight. Look, I tried to do it for 1 to 3 years, and the problem with this is, if you do this for too long, if you lock in and get too obsessed for too long, what's going to happen is, you're going to find out the more work that you do and you never get rewarded for, because you're sacrificing so much, there's no positive feedback loop that gets closed. So in your mind, you're not getting paid for the work that you're doing. Guys, if you've started making money, go and enjoy yourself. Do something. I'm not saying go get drunk, spend £200 on a Moncler t-shirt, yeah? I'm not saying go be a divvy, but just think of an experience that will actually give you inspiration and add to your life. This is what I didn't do. Guys, I was making 10 grand a month in profit, right? And I would go to my office that had no windows, it had no central heating, and it had an electric heater in there. I even saw rats down there. It was a terrible condition. I was down there on my own. I never saw anybody. It was as depressing as you could get, and I wondered why my mind was poorly. But this is just what I did, right? So I tried to do this for way too long. Look, a sweet spot is around 6 to 12 months, or whenever you get it cracking. Like, look, if it takes 18 months, it's not bad. If it takes 3 months, great. But believe me, when you're trading all your time and money, you're going to feel the effects, because you're not going to be speaking to friends, you're not going to be going out, you're not going to be living life. And look, it's okay, but just keep the target in mind. It's a short time frame. If you need to and you don't get there in this time frame, that's okay. Go take a break, go take a week somewhere, go to Spain on your own, go to a different place, a different city, go get an Airbnb, leave your phone at home, take the time to read, meditate, do some different stuff, exercise, reset your mind, get some more, sometimes you just gotta go taste it, right? Like, I've just booked to go to Dubai next month. I'm starting a new business at the minute, so I don't need to be going to Dubai trips, but I paid for a mastermind, and I need to expose myself to some new inspiration. So I'm not going to Dubai to flex Burj Khalifa and all that. I'm not trying to do all that. But I'm going because I need some new inspiration. So that's the benefit of the trip. And that is actually going to return itself in your finances. So invest in experiences still. Don't be this super tight guy that's reluctant to spend any money like I was. It's just not smart. So with that being said, the point of all this is we're trying to just get to the point when we've got what I call a breathing budget. If you've followed this correctly and you've hyper focused on saving your money, working extra time, working on weekends, swapping your time for knowledge, then you're going to be so busy making money and learning that you're not going and wasting any money. You're working all the time so you're getting paid extra and you're saving extra and you're building your knowledge at the same time. So a few months have gone by. Let's say you do this for 6 months and now you're earning extra money. Well, if you've got $5,000, $10,000, whatever you've managed to save in that time, that's called the breathing room budget. So when you've got the breathing room budget, this is obviously going to depend on your situation that you're in. If you've got rent that's, $1,000 a month, your breathing room budget is going to have to be bigger because you're going to have, let's say, 6 months of expenses. Now, the reason why this is the target is because this is the first step. That with the breathing room budget, this will buy the time back. So now all of a sudden, you've got more time. Now, you've got more time and you're not worrying about finances. And because you've been studying and learning for so long and building knowledge, now you're in a position where you can actually execute on something. You're not worried about paying your rent. You're not worried about running out of money. You've got all the experience and you've trained your mindset as an entrepreneurial mindset and you've actually downloaded some data sets from online. If you've used this time correctly and you've been studying properly and you've been saving your money, now you're in a position where you can take 6 months off. Now just ask yourself, if you're currently in a job or at college or whatever, you're spending 40 hours a week doing that for somebody else. What could you do for yourself if you had raw passion behind it? If you were trying to change your family's life, what could you do for yourself? Now, if you've been studying one thing, an entrepreneurship, for 6 to 12 months, and you've gone and completely changed your character because you've locked in, you've focused on making money, you feel better about yourself because you've got a budget to breathe with, and you've got the knowledge to do something because you've been hyper-focusing on it, that puts you in a position where you're now capable. And look, anything that you do in business, it comes down to likelihoods and probabilities. And your job is to increase the probabilities. Now, the more time and the more money that you have and the more knowledge, the higher that your probability to succeed will be. Okay, nothing's guaranteed. We don't need to guarantee anything. You don't have a guarantee that you're not going to get hit by a car when you walk out onto the road the next time. So don't be thinking that you need a guarantee to go take a risk. Like, save that for the wages. Save that for the workers, yeah? Now, because we have trained our minds and we have the finances and we can actually breathe for once because we've hyper-focused on these things, you're going to start seeing with more clarity and you're going to have an idea of what steps that you need to take. And look, guys, this is the same for any business model. This is what I did. I'm an e-commerce entrepreneur, but what I knew was I needed hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of stock to go against my competitors. They were a lot bigger than me, they had more budget than me, and unless I had that, I had no chance. So that's exactly what I did. I had to hyper-focus on all these and very much so lock in. And look, guys, if you are one of these big dreamers and you want to do all of these things with your life, and you want to go and be that guy, and you want people to look up to you, and you want to buy your family things, you want to get your dad that car, you want to retire your mum from working, and you want to go all these places, and you want to have a massive personal brand, and you want to have your own business, and you want to have the respect from your friends and the respect from people you went to school with, look, that's great. But that type of mindset can get you into trouble because it can put you in the daydreaming mode. Now, guys, the only thing that you need to focus on is your daily outputs. I'm a big fantasizer and dreamer, right? I'm always thinking about the things that I want. And yeah, that's cool. It sounds motivational. You should be like that, whatever. But the problem is when you're thinking in a too much of a large scale and you're just focusing on the outcomes, you're focusing on the results that you're going to get. Results are not guaranteed. We've already gone over this. Nothing is guaranteed. Absolutely nothing. So only a fool would focus on the outcome of anything that you're doing. Now, the fact is, if you're getting into the game of entrepreneurship, you are going to have to make friends with delayed gratification. Meaning the work that you're doing this week, you're not getting paid for it next week. You might not get paid for it next month. You might not get paid for it ever. Yeah, but that's the game that we're getting into. Now, the upside is you might be paid in an absolutely massive proportion. Let's just take this YouTube video, for example, right? I'm a fairly new channel at this point. I've got less than 500 subs. I've only just started a few months ago. Look, I've been in business for a lot of years, but I've only just started on YouTube, right? This channel's going to grow, okay? And I'm going to make this video now. I'm unlikely going to see crazy views on this video. But what this video is, this is an investment into my personal brand. So I'm happy with the fact that me making this video today, I'm not getting paid tomorrow, I'm not getting paid in a month, I might not get paid in 6 months, 12 months or 2 years. But I'm planting a seed that has the potential to grow. And as long as I focus on the garden of my personal brand and keep watering it and looking after it, then it's got the good probability to grow, right? And that's the way that you've got to be looking at entrepreneurship and business. All the things that you're doing today, you might not get paid for ever or tomorrow. But it's about transitioning from the instant gratification to delayed gratification, right? So with that being said, the only thing you need to focus on is daily outputs. What did you do today? What have you done today? What can you do on a daily basis that is going to add to your biggest goal? So what about your business are you trying to do? Are you trying to get big on social media? Well, getting big on social media doesn't happen overnight. What it looks like is daily action. So what target are you setting yourself, and what are you doing on a daily basis to get to your goal? Now, that's the thing that we need to think about. And when you're starting from nothing, look, it's such a long way away. I know the feeling. It's such a long way away. It's like, even though you can be having a positive mindset and the correct mindset, it can still feel like you're a million miles away. But look, the only thing that you can control is your daily action. Now, all the guys that you watch, all the guys that you want to be like, all the things that you want, they come as a result of daily action over a long period of time. And look, the thing is, time goes fast. Even though in your mind now you cannot imagine a year ahead, when a year goes past, it's like that. So with that being said, if you focus on every single day, that is where you're going to see the gains and the results. So be consistent. Make sure you're doing something on a daily basis that goes towards your goal. And with that,